What is that? How's it going? It is I, your favorite internet nobody. It's been a little while. For the 99% who know nothing about me, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Tsvetoslav Shalev. I was born and grew up in Bulgaria, but I've spent the past 20 years, close to 20, 19. I spent the last 19 years living in the United Kingdom, working in the United Kingdom, sort of setting up life there. That changed in February of this year when I spontaneously decided to leave the United Kingdom. I left a house I bought, I left a job, I left a place I knew quite well, quite intimately, if you will. Originally, this video was supposed to have a bunch of detail, a lot of different pros and cons on how I felt towards the UK and how I'm currently feeling towards this old new place, or like new old place. But that video would run some 40 minutes long, and I don't think anybody would care to listen to 40 minutes of that, especially without some context. So here it is. First, this video exists solely because YouTube made me. For some reason, my algorithm is just replete. It's full of titles like, you should start YouTube now, life is different when you do YouTube, YouTube is easy to start, get on YouTube right now because it's and this is like the latest little gold rush towards something. You see a trend going up and then a bunch of videos crop up about it. And I must say, from my own experience and observations and my own consumption of YouTube videos and YouTube content in general, there is an uptick of a style of video like this one, better produced in many ways, of various people who are either going through joblessness or a change of career or training themselves or either repatriating or expatriating a country, leaving or returning. People talking about or sharing about their lives in relative poverty, or like lives with less. So yeah, there's a lot of like very crude looking but very intentional videos about life and change, and there is a good thing to it. It's kind of inspiring and thought-provoking, and there's probably a dark side to it as well, I'm pretty sure. But yes, this video exists because YouTube made me. Now, I do want to talk about why I made this decision to leave the United Kingdom, at least for now, at least for the foreseeable future. And it really boils down, I mean, all of it boils down to three things. In no particular order, Brexit. Not the event itself, even though it was disastrous, and I still think it is for the country. Mainly because it felt like a gut punch of sorts. I was just getting acclimatized. I was getting on 10 years in the UK or thereabouts, I think. Let's see, I think the vote was in 2015 or 2016. I was there in 2007. So about 9-10 years. And I was just starting to adjust to life there. And I thought, yeah, integration. And then the Brexit vote happened, and it made me think. It seriously made me think about my place as somebody who was not born there, who grew up someplace else and moved. So Brexit was one reason, and I could talk about all of that in a separate video if need be. There is just so much to talk about. But that was one reason. So yeah, I suddenly felt like I lost a home, at least in thought, in yeah, just conceptually, this is something dislocated, something dislodged, something stopped making sense for me. I don't know why it happened. It shouldn't have, but it did. The second thing is, and this is probably going to come back and bite me, I work in IT, or I worked in IT, and I spent 10 years really grinding and getting to a decent position in the last company I was in, and to a really good wage and really good working conditions and fantastic colleagues. But as soon as I got to that point, disillusionment hit again. There's something about it, something about working really hard and grinding and going through all of it. I think I burned out. That, and the fact that the more complex your job is, sometimes the more abstract it is, the more you spend your time with policies and virtualization and coding and stuff, the more disconnected you feel from everybody else. And it's weird. It really is weird. And some days I just craved like sending an email and helping somebody with something. But obviously that wasn't what I was getting paid to do. So I I lumped that with my move to Bulgaria. Effectively, moving to Bulgaria forced a mutual termination of contract, which happened on 25th of May. I've not had a job yet. I'm still looking. It's not great, but it's happening. Something will land, or I will have to keep approaching people until we get something. And the third reason why I left, the first reason, yes, the first reason was Brexit. Second reason, just personal development. I didn't know what I was going to be when I grew up, and then I grew up. I'm almost 40 years of age, and it hit me that I'm still not entirely sure where I am, how I want to continue living the rest of my life professionally. So that's not a good place to be. It's an opportunity, but also a huge issue. And the third reason why I left the UK is, quite frankly, that not just mental disconnection, but sort of physical alienation. It's weird. I used to live in London for the bulk of my time in the UK. And then the last couple of years, the last 3 years actually, I bought a house in a little town called Lee, stuck between Liverpool and Manchester. Just a place that's so completely different from what I was used to, what I think I still am used to. And what happened was, I think Brexit started chipping away, and all the conversations around it and everything that's happened since was chipping away at me. How expensive life in London got was eating at me. But then as soon as I moved out of there and bought my own place and tried to make a life and tried to make a house, tried to turn a house into a home, none of that worked. I just felt like an outsider. I really did. And I could just never regain it. I'd go back to London and it felt too manic and too expensive and just too much for somebody who needs none of that. But back in Lee was the extreme opposite. So yeah, all of this and so much more on the periphery kept building sort of like an internal pressure. It's weird. It really is weird. But ultimately, it resulted in my deciding to, yes, I was in Bulgaria for a couple of months, and then I messaged my managers at work and I said, look, we need to look at my contract because I'm not returning, I'm not coming back. And that turned into whatever this is. the plan with this YouTube channel is still unknown. I think the description kind of points to my talking about this process of repatriation and working through it all. I've returned to an even smaller town than the one I had my house in, to a country that does things differently. We're still people, Bulgarians are still people, but certain things, certain social unwritten rules work in a way that's very different from how it is in the UK, and I am trying to figure that out, even though I speak the language. But there's an undeniable sense of comfort. And probably that has something to do with the fact that I'm in my parents' house. Both of them are still alive. We have a dog. Some of my neighbors are still about, relatives, and it's a small community. So it feels like you've been away a while, but at the same time, yeah, it's familiar. There's some familiarity. There's something comforting about the place. And obviously there is a lot that I feel like could improve. And that's energizing. That's sort of adding meaning to it all. You know, it's not just about my own success or failure. It's not just about my own fulfillment, but I think the overarching narrative of what's going to happen in the coming years, or what I'll try and do is, you know, yeah, let me look at myself and let's work on myself, but also how can I be of broader help? And I have started some things. I've been drafting some things, and you know, a process of ideation is taking place. But this is just the beginning, and it could be a failure. Nobody's spared that. Nobody's guaranteed success. So, yeah, you see a lot of shorts of my dog Jessie, and more will come. And then I'll make it a point to release a video once a week or something, just to check in. In a perfect world, I'd rather not sit in front of a camera, but rather take footage of the world that's around me and what's happening, and then comment over it, or even write something and read it out, as opposed to doing this. But this is cheap and quick. That's all I have for now. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.